I was in this cafe where you used to go between classes, and he came up to me with this newspaper that talked about the sit-ins in Greensboro and asked me if I'd seen it, and I said yes. And he said, "What do you think?" I said, "It's great." He said, "Don't you think it ought to happen here?" I said, "I'm sure it will." He said, "Don't you think we ought to make it happen here?" And I said, "What do you mean we?" And he said, "Well, you take this side of the cafe and I'll take the other, and we'll talk to people about doing it." And although I was pretty shy at that age, I was not too shy to go up to strangers and say, "We're having a meeting about this, come on and join." And you know, some of them said yes, some said no, and we got a core, and that was the beginning of the Atlanta sit-in movement.
And do you remember being frightened when you went out on some of these sit-ins?
Oh yes, the very first time I went to the City Hall cafeteria, which was segregated, and I was leading the group. I was the first person. I had to talk to the women behind the steam counter who were terrified. And then I had to talk with these black women. Then I had to talk with a white woman who was the cashier at the end of the line. And she was very nice, but I was frightened to death. And then she called the police. And of course the police came, and I was terrified of them. You know, I had these images of clubs and all these kind of things. But this is Atlanta after all. This is not Birmingham. And Atlanta police had relatively good relationships with black Atlantans. And so they treated us in a decent way, you know, just arrested us, put us in a paddy wagon, took us away. There's no maltreatment at all. So all my fears were dissipated and got in jail. And we're in these cells with these other people, other men who've been arrested for heaven knows what. And you're wondering, what's he in here for? What did he do? And so...
And what's going to happen to me for me?
Yes, what's going to happen to me, and how long am I going to be here? And but we were only there for a couple of hours and got out again. But oh yeah, I was tremendously frightened.